time management, the final boss for freelance video editors and the bane of existence for some of you. Here's 10 ways to improve your time management as a video editor and as a creative in general. Know your workflow and yourself. If you're going to be working for yourself as a freelancer, it's important to be honest about all your strengths and weaknesses. How do you work best? About how long do specific tasks take you? What are your peak productivity hours? Or even peak days within a week? Do you forget things often? Do you need a place to add reminders so you won't forget things all the time? Which is me. Every day. Be honest about how much you can realistically handle per day and per week, and work within those parameters to get the best out of yourself. Don't underestimate the brain dump. One of my biggest weaknesses is that I usually have about 1,000 things in my head at all times, and it puts me into freeze mode whenever I have too much to do and not sure which one to do first. So for a while, every single morning, I would write out every single thing that is in my head that I know that needs to get done. Then I would go back through the to-do list and put a star next to everything that needed to be done today. Then I would make a separate list for all of those things that needed to be done today, knowing that I had that list visualized so I wouldn't be overwhelmed and could just compartmentalize what needed to be done today, and also would feel good about knowing that all the things that also need to be done are recorded on this other notebook where I feel like I wouldn't forget them. Create a realistic daily schedule. I want you to treat your workflow like you are in a mini production house, because that's what you are. You are the video editor, you are the producer, you're the account manager, and let's be honest, sometimes you are the unpaid intern running to get the coffee. So block out chunks for editing sessions. Again, realistically, how long do things take you? What are your peak hours? Block those things out as needed in your schedule first. Then you want to add in your admin tasks. Things that need to be done, maybe aren't as fun to get done. Maybe these are things that you tend to be better at doing later in the day when your brain isn't working so well. And also, please, please, please make sure to add in breaks as well, because we want to not blow ourselves up mentally. Use a project management system. Even if it's just you, provide yourself with the workflow tools you will need to succeed. These apps could be your secret weapon for your productivity, and best part is they all start out free. So Trello is super visual and easy to use for me. Think of it as a virtual to-do list. You can create boards for each project or just a general board for your life. You can break down tasks, you can assign deadlines. Now, depending on the client, you can even use this as a home base for your communication with them so that things related to the project can all live in one space. So the next one is all about time tracking, because the thought of, I think this took me about 4 hours, is not the energy we are bringing to our invoice emails. So Clockify or Toggle are great for tracking your time. Both of these tools track your time across clients so you can charge accurately and start seeing where your time is actually going. Because spoiler alert, it's not just going to editing. Google Suite is a classic. You can share docs for feedback. You can have shared drives for deliverables. These are going to be your backbone apps, as many of your clients should already know how to use them. Then there is Notion. You can use it for everything: note-taking, databases, calendars, project management. Honestly, it is a little overwhelming at first, but once you get the hang of it, it really is a total game changer. I will note that it is a little bit limited unless you opt for the paid version. But if you're looking for sort of something all in one and very customizable, this is a great option for you. So now let's talk about apps for managing client feedback. I've got 3 here: Frame.io, Whipster, and Vimeo Review. And these are really for getting feedback in a way that doesn't make you want to slam your laptop shut. You can now have time-stamped comments, and that brings us all peace as editors. And you can even transfer the Frame.io notes directly to your timeline. Okay, and real quick on this one, if you are working with other editors or assistants, DaVinci has built-in tools for live collaboration, kind of like Google Docs, but for color grading and timelines. You've got a shared project library, so everyone's got the the latest version. You can lock bins and timelines to stop people from overwriting what you're working on, and then chat directly within the project. It definitely takes some learning to set up, but if you're on a team, it is a huge game changer. These tools are going to help you build habits that will make your life easier. It's going to make your work more enjoyable, and it's going to make your clients happier. Start small, pick just one free tool, and start trying to implement this into your workflow. Now, if we haven't met yet, my name is Colleen, and in this channel, I help you to get a video editing job, and I help you get paid doing what you love. So for more tips on that, or just to support my channel, I'd so appreciate if you can hit the like button below and hit subscribe if you haven't already. And for more details about my newest Skillshare class, all about mastering your niche, and to receive a free month of Skillshare, you can find that information in the link below as well. If you don't manage your time will manage you. When it comes to video editing, perfectionism is kind of a time killer. So set deadlines for yourself within the project deadlines. If a big project is due a week from today, you might want to plan out your week like this. The rough cut, you can set a deadline for 2 days from now. Client review can be 1 day. Revisions, give yourself 1 day. Final export and delivery, 1 day. Backup and archiving can take maybe half a day. This way you are making smaller deadlines that you can hit within the week rather than leaving everything up until that last day and totally stressing yourself out. And it also prevents you from having perfectionism take over. If the rough cut is due 2 days from now, you need to finish it 2 days from now and stop trying to make it perfect because there are a lot of other tasks you need to do to move on from that. Don't overbook yourself. I totally get it. The fear of a slow month is super real. If I don't say yes to this, then I'll never work again feeling. And you might be thinking more projects equals more money. There's also a level of making sure that 1, you're not going to burn out, and 2, you're going to be able to provide a quality experience for every single client. If you say yes to everything and some of those everythings do not go as planned, guess who pays for that? You are paying for that in either a poor Upwork review, or an unhappy client not wanting to pay you, or a client just not wanting to work with you again, or your personal life pays for that. You skip hanging out with your friends. You skip eating dinner with your partner. You skip sleeping, and none of those things signed up for your 16-hour schedule. So how do we do that? Well, I'd start by leaving 1 free day per week. It can be for spillover, for emergencies, for a spa day. This is just going to be your buffer day. It needs to be baked into your schedule. It's for the things you already have going on right now, and it's not for squeezing another client's project in really quick. Another big part to this is, of course, practicing saying no. Not every project is right for you, whether it's just not the right client or the needs that they have just outweigh what you can provide to them. So you can either tell them, I'd love to do this project, but that deadline is absolutely not going to work for me. I would need it to be X deadline, or I would need it to be X amount of pay. You need to be able to tell them that just for your own mental sanity. And saying no does not make you ungrateful for the work, and it does not mean that no more work is going to come to you. It tells clients that you value your time, and maybe that will make them value it just as much. Keep things organized. Consistency is a big factor here. If you are going to be using a folder structure, try and use a very similar folder structure for every project that you do, because again, it builds that muscle memory and it makes you able to rely on your past and future self. They will always have the same way of organizing a project. And this is inside of your editing software and outside of your editing software. Now, something that I do still struggle with, but I'm gonna tell both of us, I'm gonna tell you and I'm gonna tell me, is to really work on your backup skills, because life happens and sometimes hard drives fail. So maybe setting up even 1 day a month for doing backups, whether you have a backup physical hard drive, whether you have a cloud platform of some sort, maybe you have both. Do whatever it takes to protect your files. And again, work it into your weekly or monthly workflow. Review your week. Now, you are your own boss in this case, and thus you are your own employee. So review your productivity like a boss would review things with their own employee. So ask yourself, What took too long? Did that edit drag on because you didn't have a shot list? Did a client keep changing their mind? Or are the exports taking longer than you expected them to take? Especially when you're working with long-term clients, being very aware of how long each aspect of the edit is taking you can save you a lot of time in the future. It can help manage expectations within yourself and for your client. And you know what? That equals growth. And again, we love to see that. What is sucking up too much time in your day? Is it you literally being distracted? Or is it the import process that is taking too long? Is there a certain point in the edit when you start to lose focus and you try to push on instead of taking a break, but instead you end up getting distracted anyway, so you might as well take a break next time? And what can you batch together next time? Could you have knocked out all of the selects in one sitting for multiple different projects instead of bouncing between selects and then rough cut and then graphics and then music? Or maybe it's something admin related that keeps dipping into your day, like answering emails. Maybe you can dedicate 1 hour per day to answering all your emails rather than being in the edit and then needing to go back and forth with either a client or whoever. Keep in mind, we are not blaming ourselves here. We are just being very aware of ourselves and our day and our workflows. And we're always looking to improve upon what happened that day and how we can just be better, more productive versions of ourselves. That's all. Because constant small adjustments here is going to lead to more of a long-term mastery of freelance, essentially, and being your own boss. Create for the wastebasket. This is a very old tip from circa the first time management video that I did a million years ago. I think a big part of losing motivation for me comes from trying to make every little thing perfect. And again, you're exhausting your brain by looking over the cut too many times or spending too much time on graphics or second guessing what a certain shot or graphic looks like. And a lot of the times, those things don't really matter. The phrase create for the wastebasket is something that I first heard on the writing end, actually. I believe it came from Dorothy Parker, and it was later brought to light again by Ray Bradbury, who said, write a short story every week. It's not possible to write 52 bad ones in a row. So if I'm feeling resistance when I'm working on a project, my go-to strategy in that is to just finish up the project as it is, get it so it's looking complete, and I send it for review. Because 90% of the time, those little things that I was worried about or feeling insecure about are not even going to be noticed by the client, or if they are, it is something where they can come back to me and say, hey, at this specific moment, I think it'd be better if you said this, or showed a specific graphic at this moment, or some other specific note that could help me in the creative process of the edit. So every edit does not need to be perfect. It just needs to be enough, and it just needs to send the message that the client is trying to send. After that, it's all just little specifics and preferences here and there. So you just need to get it done, get it sent for review, and see what they think. Because the more time that you spend obsessing over the edit, the less productive you're going to be, and sometimes it can really mess with you in the end, because that's time that you can be spending charging for another project or charging a different client. And instead you're wasting that time focusing on the most perfect way to do this edit. And it's just really not necessary. So it is a tip that has been with me from the very start of my world as a video editor. And it continues to this day. I think about it with every client project that I take on is it enough and does it send the message? I'd like to leave you with a few more accountability hacks, because when you are working for yourself, you don't have a manager breathing down your neck. And yay for that, but also it's very easy to just find yourself floating around in this, I guess I could be doing that later, or I don't really feel like doing that right now, or I need a snack first. And then suddenly it's 11 p.m. and then nothing is done. And here you are emotionally bargaining with the hard drive. So here are some tools or tips that help keep you on task without making you feel like a productivity robot. So time journaling, block it out. Grab a notebook or a spreadsheet or even your phone's calendar. Block out your entire day from the time that you wake up and start, your day to the time that you would normally go to bed. Every hour, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, well, 1, 2, 3. Write in when you would take your lunch break. Write in when you would eat breakfast. Write in when you would eat dinner. Write in if you would go to the gym. Write in any appointments that you have or meetings that you have. Okay, great. So what are the things that you need to do today that you had already written out, hopefully on your one page? Put those in, work them in. How long does this thing take you normally? Okay, great. Work it in the morning. You can do X, Y, and Z in the morning, and then after lunch in this time frame, you can do Z, Y, X. This helped me so much when I was first starting out. I actually should probably get back to it because it is the best feeling in the world for someone like me to check off things whenever they're done, which is why I'm a chronic list maker. But when you write out your time blocking like that, and then you get things done early, so you gave yourself 2 hours, but you got it done in like 1 hour instead, it is just the best feeling in the world. And it feels so good to know that you're getting all these things done in the time that you said you wanted to get them done. Another tool is the sprint timer. You can set a timer for say 30 minutes. And of course, dedicate that time solely for one specific task. No distractions, no emails, just being laser focused. And when that timer goes off, you take a break. This is also known as the Pomodoro method, just put into an app. And you'd be surprised on how much you can actually accomplish when you are put on that smaller time limit. I also do a similar version of this with myself, kind of as a tricking mechanism, where if I don't feel like doing something, I say, listen, just do this one thing for literally 5 minutes or even 10 minutes. And then usually once I'm in the thick of doing that thing, I will just finish the task rather than actually only spending 5 or 10 minutes on it. So this really helps with both motivating yourself to do a task and also making sure that that task does not actually turn into a 3-hour task, because depending on the priority of it, you may not have time to spend 3 hours on your website design. And this really helps with that. Accountability buddy. Me and my friend used to do this for a very, very long time. Like I think maybe it lasted about a year. We were accountability buddies, and every single morning we would text each other a list of the things that we were going to do that day. And at the end of the day, we would check in with each other. We would say what we did that day and what we didn't get to do that day and what we're going to push off for tomorrow. It is a helpful way to, again, just make you more accountable to someone, especially in the case of this, where if you don't have your own boss, you kind of need someone to tell of what you said you were going to do that day. And then the feeling of needing to tell them that you didn't get to do that task is sometimes overpowering enough to be like, no, I should just power through and get all these tasks done, because it'll feel really good to be able to go to my friend and say, I got all of my tasks done today. All in all, you don't have to be perfect. You don't need a color coding planner. You don't need 3 paid productivity apps, but you do need a system that keeps you honest, and you need to be able to be accountable, and you need to be kind to yourself. This is how you stop working within chaos and start working more with purpose. Now, I would love to hear from you. What are your biggest time management hacks? Or are you struggling with anything in particular when it comes to time management? Or what tools do you swear by? I would love to hear all that in the comments below. Again, if you are interested in video editing or freelance lifestyle, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much to my team. Again, I am Colleen, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Have the best one.